whether again I point you in the direction of Saturday's game when the Bobcats were taking
You got it, buddy. I'll remember this time.
Just a short 2.5 hour road trip. Still came out. They worked hard. They were making some big hits.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Alex Von Keudel with you on the away broadcast mic tonight, joining you from rink number 4. This is match number 3 of the North American Hockey League 2016 Showcase, Wildcats Bobcats, a rematch of the 2016 Robertson Cup Semi-Finals, in which the Wildcats would come from behind in back-to-back games to sweep the Bismarck Bobcats back in early May to advance to the Robertson Cup Championship game. This is the first time the Cats will be matched up against Bismarck since that sweep. The hero, one of the heroes in that series, by the way, in the lineup for the Wildcats tonight, Ryan Burnett, undoubtedly the hero of the first game against Bismarck, game number 1. Ryan Burnett with 2 goals, including the game winner off a point-blank one-timer that beat the goaltender of the year last season, Hunter Shepard, on the short side with a slap shot snipe high over the glove hand of Hunter Shepard to give the Wildcats a 3-2 lead, which they would hang on to beat the Bobcats in game number 1. They were all over them in game number 2. It was all about the Wildcats in that Robertson Cup semifinals series. Bismarck hoping to turn things around this time, hopefully get some revenge against Wichita Falls. And it's not just another game for a few of these players. Not only are many of them still on the roster who remember those bitter feelings of dropping games 1 and 2 in come from behind fashion against the Wildcats to be eliminated from the Robertson Cup playoffs. Parker Mismash, one player in particular, a former Wildcat, was on the team under John LaFontaine, played till I'd say just about this time of the year last season, maybe a little bit longer. I believe it was briefly after the showcase in which Parker Mismash was traded to the Bismarck Bobcats for a tender. So Mismash, the ex-Wildcat who played his high school hockey not far from this rink with Edina High School, will be playing in his home state against his former team. So another emotional series for Parker Mismash here this evening. The Wildcats with 3 players returning to the roster again this year. Ryan Burnett, Alexei Poikala, who lead the Cats in scoring. Burnett with an 8-point season, Poikala with a 6-point season. Each of them came together on the Wildcats' only goal last night against the Springfield Junior Blues. And I'll tell you what, folks, thank goodness for the production between those 2 veterans on the line with Jonathan Bendorf. It's been the Wildcats' most productive line. No surprises. They get the nod to start this game as part of the Wildcats' Pelicans Restaurant starting lineup. But if it were not for them, I'm not sure the Wildcats would have won a game this season. They've just had that much difficulty putting the puck in the back of the net. That has been the issue, is offense. Normally, fans of the Wildcats have not been accustomed to a team that has struggled offensively. Last season and the season before that, the Cats were an absolute offensive juggernaut. Last year, second best in the league in goals for. The year before that, number 1. The last 2 seasons, their power play has been an average of 24% conversion rate. This year hasn't even been close to that, so they have been struggling. There is no question about it. And now is absolutely not the time to panic. It is the first couple of weeks here of the 2016-17 season with a new coach and 20 new players. And obviously there's going to be a great learning curve and some adjustments and some feeling out. Certainly not the time to panic, but there is a bit of a cause for concern, I would say, through the first 6 games. One of the issues has been getting shots through traffic. In both the Fairbanks game and the Springfield game, the amount of shots blocked nearly equaled or did equal the amount of shots the Wildcats had on goal, and that simply cannot happen. The Cats have got to do a better job of finding the open lane, getting a little bit dirtier, and going to the areas that are not easy to go to. That has been a bit of an issue as well. I watched a little bit of the Odessa Jackalopes Fairbanks Ice Dogs game before the pregame show here. And what I saw, by the way, the Odessa Jackalopes upset the Fairbanks Ice Dogs and handed them their first regulation defeat of the season by a final score of 3-0 against Fairbanks. And the way that the Jackalopes scored both of their goals before the empty netter was going to the dirty areas. It came off of not second chances, third, fourth, fifth chances. That is how you score goals in this league. And I think for a lot of the young players on the Wildcats who have just come either straight from high school or from a lower junior tier team, have not really grown accustomed to having to go to the difficult areas and just skate around and have fun and score, and it's not quite the case anymore. So for a lot of them, it's still an adjustment, and they're still working on it, and they're starting to learn here, I would say, through 2 defeats. Do not be surprised to see a much more offensively inclined Wildcats team here early in this game number 3 against the Bismarck Bobcats. That has been another issue, by the way. The Wildcats have not scored a first period goal in a week. The last time they have scored a goal in the first 20 minutes was against the Corpus Christi Ice Rays in game number 2 of 3. They put up 4 in that first period, but since then they have not scored a first period goal. So that's been an issue, getting on the board early. And against a Bismarck team that is known for its good defense, that will be an objective undoubtedly for the Wildcats, who are now on their respective bench. You can see on fasthockey.com the Wildcats starting lineup. Excuse me there, John. Brought to you by Pelican's Restaurant is as follows. Looks like Roman Canal will get the nod, so a late switch for the starters. On defense, Roman Canal, Ryan Orgel rounding out the blue line. Again, the forwards up front, Alexei Poikala, Ryan Burnett, and Jonathan Bendorf, the rookie out of New Jersey, playing alongside 2 vets. In goal, Evan Moyes, and why not? He's done a great job in the last 2 games, has kept his team in both of the last 2 games, first against Fairbanks, next against Springfield. As for the Bismarck Bobcats, it looks like starting at center, Matthew Berry, flanked by Nick Alexander and Tobias Flattaby, a couple of veterans on the wings. Tanner Vesio, Jordan Freilich, another veteran defenseman. On the blue line, Will Ulrich, who's had a great start to his season, replacing Hunter Shepard, will be tending goal for the Bismarck Bobcats. Hunter Shepard, for those of you not aware, was the goaltender of the year last season for Bismarck. His services no longer available. He's moved on to play Division I hockey at the University of Minnesota Duluth, so he will obviously be missed, but according to buddy of mine, Paul Teeple, the Bismarck broadcaster, he has said Will Ulrich has been more than up to the task of replacing the services of Hunter Shepard, and he's done a great job in the start of the season. The Wildcats may be a little bit grinded down through the first 6 games or so here. Their schedule has not been friendly to them. There's no question about it. 4 games before the showcase even started. That is almost unheard of. No other team has had to deal with that. So the Wildcats may be a little bit fatigued after all this hockey that they've played. A 3-game series at home before traveling all the way from Texas to play 4 games in 4 days. So maybe not a whole lot of energy. We'll see what they come out with in the first period. Canal rips a long slap shot from the left point. This hockey game is underway. The shot didn't get all the way through as it skittered wide out the glove side of Will Ulrich, and Bismarck will look to clear this puck out of their own zone. So here comes Nick Alexander through the neutral zone across the Wildcats line. He stops and spins and throws the puck loose in behind the Wildcats net and around the end wall. Toby Flattaby spins it back down there. Barry tries to center, picked off by Ryan Orgel, whose father is in the crowd tonight. Ryan Burnett clears it down the length. The Wildcats complete their first line change of this hockey game. At center, it's Ricky Carballo flipping one high in the air over the goaltender Will Ulrich. It goes into the far side corner. Peter von Steinberg's the veteran blue liner, also a Minnesota native. Gets it out to center, and another Minnesota native, Seamus Donahue, played a lot of high school hockey in this very rink growing up. His father's here as well. Ashbrook has it at center. Tristan Ashbrook gets it into the Wildcats' end. Seamus Donahue picks it up behind Evan Moyes. Will try to swing it off the skate of Stephen Tilley. Bounces its way into Skvortsov's wheelhouse. He didn't see the puck. It was rolling behind him as it goes into the far corner and behind the Bobcats' net. Curled along and back out to center now by Zach Kennedy. The Cats will reset. Will Ulrich plays the puck. I believe it would have been icing had he not. Peter von Steinbergs swings it behind his net. Brendan Prappis goes crashing into Tanner Breidenbach to win the puck. Wasn't able to, and Bismarck has just flung the puck off the ceiling again, and we get our first whistle of this hockey game 2 minutes in. We're scoreless here on rink number 4 at the Schwann Super Rink. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Those of you watching on fasthockey.com, Paul Teeple, the Bismarck broadcaster, will be the home feed this evening. And myself, Alex Von Coydel, the Wildcats broadcaster, the away feed here this evening. Parker Mismash swings it out into the slot in his own zone. Brandon Young, the Bismarck defenseman, outlets one to the left side for Lucas Millen, whose shot swallowed up, no problems for Evan Moyes. Evan Moyes nearing 60 saves now in this showcase tournament. He's only given up 4 goals. Been a very solid goaltender for Tony Curtali's Wildcats. He's given them all a coach or a team could really ask for. Now it's time for them to start putting the puck in the net. Bendorf swings one up ice nicely. Here comes Alexei Poikala. Gains the Bismarck line, takes it wide on Parker Mismash. As he's sized up in the corner there by Noah Borman. Orgel takes a swat at it off of Bismarck's skate back out to center. Poikala steals it. Now it's Bendorf, sets up Burnett right side. Takes the shot, punched away there by the goaltender, Will Ulrich. Stolen by Poikala again. Poikala for Orgel, who's blast, denied by Ulrich. Loose puck, Poikala fires, stopped by Ulrich, and covered in the goal mouth before Poikala could jam it in. Big couple of stops by Will Ulrich on Alexei Poikala and Ryan Orgel. Just 3 minutes into this game, we've seen some frantic action on the Bismarck side, so that's a good sign for the Wildcats, getting off to a better start clearly in this hockey game. Roman Canal swings it to big Kevin Fees down the left boards. Fees with a sharp angle shot, and hugging the post there, Will Ulrich made the stop. Ulrich looking possibly a little bit tentative there, maybe not hugging the post all the way, sort of cheating over a little bit almost. We'll see if the Wildcats can try to take advantage of that. Fees will drop it to Canal, who returns it immediately. Fees has to spin away to get a little bit of room, but his time had run out. Here comes Bismarck on the counterattack. Trying to shoot it there from the right side. There was Matthew Barry, blocked by a Wildcat skate. It's in low. Colin Appleton has it in the Cats zone. Roman Canal pickpockets Appleton. Canal goes behind his net. Ryan Orgel pushes it up through center for C.J. Walker. Across the blue line for Bobby DeFriest. Backpedaling now, it's Jordan Freilich, the veteran Bobcat defenseman, lost the puck. Kevin Fees is 1-2. Puck bounces its way back out to center. Jonathan Waring will flip it back in. Waring getting a little bit frustrated through the first 2 games. He's drawn iron at least twice that I can recall, probably more than that. Hoping to put the puck in the back of the net with 2 goals. The Wildcats' leading goal scorer among defensemen. Stephen Tilley throws it off the corner glass. And Tilley finds Carballo, who returns it for him nicely. Left circle. And puts it in behind the Bobcats' net. Skvortsov squeezed off. Carballo to pick up the loose change. The Wildcats cycling things here. Skvortsov coming off the boards looking for a shot. Threw one across to his defenseman. Good poke check by Nick Alexander to pry the puck out to center ice. Toby Flatterby, the Finnish left winger, lost the puck after having crossed the Wildcats' blue line, and an icing will be called against Wichita Falls despite the hustle put on by Ricky Carballo. As we're 4.5 minutes into this first period, still scoreless. The Cats definitely with some pep into their step, however, in this first period, more so than we've seen in the previous 2 games. And if you missed the pregame show, folks, the Wildcats have not scored a first period goal since last Friday. Jonathan Waring had his pocket picked. One-time blast there from Barry was blocked by a maze of Wildcats in the slot, and the puck deflected out of play. 27, if I'm not mistaken, were the amount of blocked shots that Springfield had last night against the Wildcats. Dom Sipus reverses the puck. Blake Kriska, Tri-City Storm product, up to CJ Regula. Now it's Brennan Prapis. Dom Sipus, the ex-Team Lithuania captain, tries to throw it in. Didn't get all the way in behind the Bobcats net. They blocked it. Now Regula has it in the corner. He's squeezed off there by Tanner Breidenbach. Regula, who drew iron the other day, trying to steal it now. No luck, couldn't get it off the stick of Nicholas McKeeby. Flatterby finds a man open in Tanner Vesio, whose shot was off target. Dom Sipus is sized up along the near corner boards. Now with it, Cabinia. Now Prapis down his off wing. Prapis will throw it in. He gets rid of it, goes to the bench. 5.5 into this game. We're still scoreless here on rink number 4 at the Schwann Super Rink. Burnett goes tumbling. Orgel can't keep it. He was outnumbered. Here comes Bismarck on the rush. It's Tristan Ashbrook cutting into the slot, firing, blocked by the stick of Regula as it bounces its way behind the net. Ashbrook sets up Younger, whose shot denied there by Evan Moyes. What a save! And the net again been knocked off its pegs. If you've been with us since the start of the showcase, you know all too well, I should say, that net just cannot stay on its pegs for whatever reason. Today it looks like might be no exception. Austin Younger, or Junger perhaps, yeah, it was Junger, who took the one-timer. Evan Moyes with a big stop. Junger versus Poikala, face-off circle to the right of Evan Moyes. That's another area the Cats, I would say, probably struggled last night, was in the face-off dot against Springfield, who had some aces in the face-off circles. Roman Canal shovels it off the glass in the neutral zone down the ice. Bendorf and Burnett in pursuit of it, the former of whom has the puck now in the right side corner in the Bismarck end. He's taken down to the ice. Chopped up ice now, and the Bobcats looks like will be able to clear out to the neutral zone, but no further. Now it's flung in by Peter von Steinbergs. Evan Moyes will just squat on the puck as some pushing and shoving taking place over there far corner between Austin Junger and Roman Canal, the young defenseman out of Michigan. Match number 3, the Wildcats still looking for their first victory here in the showcase. They dropped a very heartbreaking close game against the defending champions, the Fairbanks Ice Dogs, 1-0, and then fell again to the Springfield Junior Blues by a final of 3-1. So just one goal through the first 2 games. The Cats really hoping to get their offense going here. Donahue jabs it into the Bismarck end. Parker mismatch, will reverse it behind his own net. Brandon Young for Bismarck. We get a whistle and a stoppage because Alexei Poikala went crashing into the left post in the Bismarck zone. 6.5 minutes or so into this scoreless first period here at Braemar. I said Braemar. Actually Schwann. My apologies. Braemar is where the Wildcats and Bobcats played in the Robertson Cup Semi-Finals last year. Puck is thrown directly out of play over Moyes' net. We'll see if they say this was deflected. Ian Gendro, tonight's referee, is saying that the puck was deflected by a Wildcats defender. So the faceoff will stay in the Cats zone to Evan Moyes' right. Apologize for the confusion. I'll just tell everybody up front, when I say Cats, I'm referring to the Wildcats. When Paul Teeple says Cats, in all likelihood is referring to the Bobcats. It's the Clash of Cats for the first time of the season, and possibly the last, unless these two teams meet up again in the playoffs. Millen's shot knocked aside by Moyes, though he probably didn't have to. Looked like it was going wide. Now Millen and his teammate Jared Rezegi go battling for it. The Cats end up with it. Here comes Isaac Cabinia the other way. Right side with a shot. Stick saved by Ulrich. Bismarck able to clear. Couple of one-and-dones here as Millen tries to squeeze past Waring. Good luck with that. Here comes Prappis down the other way. Prappis ran out of real estate, courtesy of Noah Borman. Again, Bismarck gets it out of their own zone quickly. So a puck battle going on right in front of the broadcast booth here. One by Wichita Falls, kept in at the left side point by Ashton Altman, the forward playing at that point position. And he finally swaps with Von Steinberg. Sardina shovels one off the half boards on the other side. Kept alive and thrown in deep by Nicholas McKeeb. In the near side corner now, and Joey Sardina, the ex-Kenai River Brown Bear, battling for it. Cabinia strips him of possession and will skate it down the right wing side and gets rid of it. Cabinia heads to the bench for a change. The Bobcats will try to exit their own zone here, and they do. 8.5 minutes have gone by in a scoreless first period here at rink number 4. Bobby DeFreeze, who did not play last night, gets it deep into Bismarck territory behind their goal line. It's still loose down there. Nicholas McKeeby working for Bismarck. Muddling things up, Kevin Fees, far corner. Wins possession nicely, has it on his backhand, but he will scoot it along down the half boards on his forehand for Skvortsov. Skvortsov very strong on his skates, ends up with the puck, works his way out to the high slot and shoots. Glove save by Will Ulrich. Nice little stick work, good skating by Ilya Skvortsov on that last play to come off the corner boards with it, maintain possession, get a strong wrist shot off. Will Ulrich with a big stop to rob Skvortsov of his second Wildcats goal. Skvortsov right off the face-off dot, wins it, dangles through the opponent's skates. He loves to do that. Canal tried to throw it on net, didn't have much zip to it. Picked off, Flatterby throws one rink wide, hoping to get it to Alexander. Goes all the way past him, into the end boards, and Carballo crashes it along. Missed the pass from Skvortsov on the breakout. Bismarck on the intercept will throw it back in behind the Cats line. Orgel swats it along now. Tilly springs Skvortsov. Carballo's breaking. Skvortsov gives him the pass. Carballo takes the shot. Missed the corner, the top right corner of the net. After that big hit delivered there by Ryan Orgel, there will be a penalty called for an elbow against Ryan Orgel, number 8. The Wildcats defenseman is going to head to the penalty box here for the Wildcats' first penalty of this game. Penalty kill has been dominant. That's the good news. The bad news, one of the Wildcats' big penalty killers, Ryan Orgel, will not be available. The Wildcats' penalty kill is brought to you by Parkway Grill. We see them go to work here for the first time of the hockey game. Nearly halfway through the first period in a scoreless 0-0 tie. Ryan Burnett jostling up there with Parker Mismash, former teammates. See what Mismash does here on this Bismarck power play. Poikala steals it, throws it off a Bismarck stick all the way back to the point. Waring's shot, pounced on by Ulrich. It was nearly a great pass to center there for Ryan Burnett. Breaking down the slot, it went off a Bobcat stick, deflected between Burnett's skates, bounced its way all the way back to Waring, whose wrist shot was denied by Ulrich. So the Wildcats have done a good job so far keeping the pressure out of their own zone. Bismarck finally, nearly halfway through their power play, gains the Wildcats line. Waring will wrap it around the wall, kept in left point. Jordan Freilich gets the return pass up high from Flatterby. Throws one off the stick hotly of Parker Mismash. Lots of vets on the ice here for Bismarck. Resigi being one of them. The only rookie, Zach Kennedy, setting up shop in front of the net. Flatterby across for a one-time drive, stopped by Evan Moyes. One of our first scuffles here in this game. Mismash tied up with Waring and a few other altercations transpiring as well down there. Ian Gendro's not going to stand for that. He points back out to the neutral zone for this face-off. Poikula, Ryan Burnett, the forwards up front on his penalty kill, stay out there. Brandon Young has it. Gains the Cats' blue line, then dishes it off to the other side. Gets the return pass, swings it down low. Good puck movement there by Brandon Young. The far corner it goes. Ashton Altman scoots the puck along the end boards. Taken now by Nick Alexander to the front of the net. Scoots it through the goal mouth and well wide. Poikula turns on the Jets, finds Burnett. Working one-on-one. He's going to beat his man to the net. Burnett shoots. He scores! Ryan Burnett with another shorthanded goal. And it's 1-0 Cats. I'm going to tell you this right now, folks. Ryan Burnett has as good a chance, if not better of a chance, than anybody in this league of leading the NAHL in shorthanded goals this season. He's got 2 already in just 7 games. He could very easily have 3. He had one that ended. The penalty had just ended against the opposing team. He nearly had 3 shorthanded goals already. Ryan Burnett with his 2nd shorthanded goal, his 6th goal of the season, and his 9th point. Continues to lead the league in scoring and in goals. And very well could be seeing a superstar in the making in Ryan Burnett. Offside called against Bismarck as time winds down on this Bobcats power play. And hear them, they might want to consider killing off their own power plays because they do not want to face Ryan Burnett shorthanded with Alexei Poikula, who's always finding him with those crisp breakout passes. You got to give credit to Poikula as well. Ryan Burnett would not have the goal totals he has this season without the help from Alexei Poikula. There's no question about it. And the 2 of them, the 2 veterans up front for the Wildcats, with such great chemistry, and that's so important on such a young team, a relatively inexperienced team like the Wildcats, getting some good leadership from their veterans, leading by example, putting the puck in the back of the net when the Wildcats have struggled to do so in the last few games. Mismatch off the faceoff. We'll drop it to Hunter Freilich or Jordan Freilich. Freilich goes to the other side now for Toby Flatterby, who returns it. Freilich down low as Parker Mismatch. Mismatch gives one cross ice. One-timer sent just wide there by Toby Flatterby. Nice find, a good pass by Parker Mismatch, the former Wildcat. Kennedy sized up now by Waring. Mismatch has it, stolen by Donahue. Again, like taking candy from a baby, but his pass behind the skates of Kevin Fees. Waring takes over in his own zone, splits the ice for Cabinia. He finds Fees on the left side. Fees will reverse the pass. Down goes Millen. Up comes Donahue, gaining the blue line. Carballo tries to return the pass. Play broken up, and Bismarck back the other direction on the left wing side. Tipped into the offensive end by Millen. Back to get it is Tilley. Tilley's beaten to it, however, by Matthew Berry of Bismarck. Berry and Millen out battling Cabinia and Tilley for the puck. Millen ends up with it in the left corner. Scoots it along the end boards. Pinching over there on the other side. Tanner Vesio slaps it off the glass. Long point shot blocked off the stick of Nick Alexander. Tilley punches it ahead a bit too far for Carballo. Peter von Steinbergs takes over behind his own net. Millen can't clear it. Sipus has it. Down the half boards. Beaten there by Matthew Berry, who picked Sipus's pocket. Now Nick Alexander will try to clear. Can't do it. Kept alive left point. Long shot from Kriska. Didn't get all the way through. Bismarck tried to start the counterattack on a 2-on-1. Kriska had other ideas. Here's Skvortsov. Reverse pass. Nearly for Stephen Tilley. What a pass that would have been, but just not in the wheelhouse for Tilley, who will try to slam it into the net from the side. Stopped by Ulrich. Bouncing puck eludes Carballo's stick. And here comes Bismarck out to center and beyond. It's dumped in behind the Cats' goal by Lucas Millen, who finally gets a much-needed line change. A fresh 5 on the ice for Bismarck. Meanwhile, the Wildcats start the breakout. Ilya Skvortsov through center, gaining the Bismarck line, taking a wrist shot. Skitters wide, didn't have a whole lot of mustard on it. Might have gone off a Bismarck stick, and the Bobcats have just iced the puck. And it's been nullified, courtesy of the hustle there by Altman. Altman wraps up Ryan Orgel. A few of the Cats who would like to change here. Skvortsov, nevertheless, fighting hard behind his own net. Starts the rush the other way for Carballo, who will dump it in the direction of Prappis. Beats everyone out to the puck and then throws it back into the high slot to nobody in particular. Bismarck on the counter. It's thrown rink wide by Altman to the other corner. Canal banks it hard off the glass here. Carballo right side. Gets rid of it. Prappis in to fetch it. We'll leave it for C.J. Regula. Returns it. Prappis into the slot. Goes all the way through. Canal has it at the blue line. Long shot. Deflected. Rebound. Prappis throws it across. All the way back. Left point. Canal has it again. The Wildcats swarming for a second goal. In the far corner, it's C.J. Regula who's knocked down to the ice. 5:45 to go in the first. The Cats with a 1-0 lead, courtesy of a Ryan Burnett shorthanded goal. Canal with some good stick work keeps the play alive at the left point, but Bismarck able to work it out. No, they still fail to clear, and Cabinia rips it wide. Not sure how they didn't clear there. They finally got it out beyond their own blue line. And the Wildcats are going to try to keep the pressure on them. Fortunately for them, the bench is closer to their side in the first period, because otherwise Bismarck would still have some tired bodies out there. Swung up down the right side, taking a tumble there with the puck on his stick was Tristan Ashbrook, who couldn't get the shot away. Ashbrook in with Zach Kennedy, both battling for possession, the former of whom wins the puck. D-to-D now for Freilich left point. His shot didn't get through the traffic. Turning it on goal was Kennedy. Moy's head at the side of the net, bounces dangerously right in front. The net's been knocked askew, and a merciful whistle blown to stop play as Moyes loses his helmet.
Bobcats' second best scoring opportunity.
Bismarck wins the offensive zone draw to Evan Moyes' left. CJ Walker will try to get it out. He works it up down the left wing side for Kevin Fees. Fees will backhand one off the Bismarck bench. Moyes flings a glove to the Wildcats bench. It belongs to one of the players on there. Burnett reaches down to grab it. Here's Alexei Poikil in the right side corner. Tries to spring it loose. He's outnumbered down there. Good play defensively by the Bobcats as they pick off the centering attempt. Zach Kennedy will clear it. Moyes left it for Seamus Donahue, who takes a hit to make a play. Bobby DeFries played one a little bit too far there for Jonathan Bendorf off a Bobcat skate. Bendorf in, he wins the puck, he looks, he centers. One-timer stopped by Ulrich on Poikila. Now Burnett finds Bendorf. Pass was too hot to handle for him. His momentum was bringing him the other way. Flatterby tried to one-hand it into the goal. Left pad save made by Evan Moyes. As two players go tumbling, it's Kriska on top of Nick Alexander down there. Evan Moyes with a big left pad save. Was nearly one-handed into the net on that rush by Toby Flatterby, the Norwegian winger. Last season was the only Norwegian player in the North American Hockey League. Not sure if that's the case again this year. I'd have to double check that, but last season, absolutely he was. Ryan Burnett chips it past everybody, goes in to play the puck, but he's outraced to it. Noah Borman will try to clear. Hugging the wall, it's Stephen Tilley looking, centering. One-timer by Burnett. Stopped by Ulrich. That was Bendorf, rather, who fed Burnett the pass. Burnett with another good hard shot, denied of his second goal in the same period. His fourth career goal against the Bobcats. How about that? In the last 3 games the Cats have played against the Bismarck Bobcats, they have scored 9 goals against them. Ryan Burnett has 4 of them. Dom Sipis throws it off of Peter von Steinberg's skate. Here comes Blake Kriska. He'll swoop in behind his own net. Gets Rezegi to bite. Kriska skating up ice, gaining the red line. Gets past Mismash, but he couldn't dump it deep. And we get a whistle and a stoppage of play, I believe, for an offside. Just under 3 to go here in the first period. 1-0 Wildcats. Ryan Burnett again with the lone goal. He is the only Wildcat to have scored since arriving here in Blaine. Burnett with nearly half of the Wildcats' goal totals this season. Here comes Millen. Puck punched over his glove. Brendan Prappis throws it up the left wall. Bismarck will try to start something here on a quick counter. Orgill will watch it go all the way through and let his goaltender Evan Moyes cover up the puck. 2.5 showing on the clock. 1-0 Wildcats. Tomorrow morning, the Cats will play the Aston Rebels right back here on rink number 4 at the Schwann Super Rink. Wildcats Rebels, 9:15 a.m. Hope you can join us for some Saturday morning hockey. Again, right off the face-off, Regula won it, but right to his goaltender, so Moyes will cover it up. A lot of scouts here tonight, folks. I'm not sure I've seen a more heavily scouted game. I don't even think the Fairbanks game in which the Wildcats played the Ice Dogs on day number 1, I don't think it was this packed on Wednesday against Fairbanks. Right point, long shot, didn't get through. Skitters towards the net. Orgill picks it off. Taken in the corner by Joey Sardina. Thrown back to the point. Long wrist shot, blocked by his own target, Sardina. Orgill leaves it for Canal. Punches it up and along near the Wildcats bench. Cabina drops it for Brendan Prappis. Backhands one off the glove of Canal, who gloves it down to the ice. Swerving his way in behind the Bismarck net. Backhands a shot. Stopped by Ulrich. Not sure he saw where it was. He looked upwards. He had the puck clearly. The whistle blows. Home games for you Wildcats fans on Saturday, October 1st and Sunday, October 2nd, right after the Ryder Old High High School football game on Friday night. So that should be a fun-filled weekend for you. Some Ryder Old High football, followed by some Wildcats hockey the following 2 nights. Jonathan Bendorf has the puck behind the Bismarck net. It's Alexei Poikla now in the high slot. Spins a pass back to Waring, who's shot. Swallowed up again by Will Ulrich, who's had a pretty good start to the game. Only 1 goal against, came off the stick of Ryan Burnett. Evan Moyes has been perfect. He has not conceded a goal yet. Alexei Poikla again to Ulrich's right. His left, rather, my right. Wins the face-off. Waring had it trickle on him. Couldn't keep it at the blue line. The Wildcats will regroup out at center ice as Bismarck has control in their own zone. Tanner Vesio throws it past Waring. The Wichita Falls territory. Donahue picks it up and pivots away from the check coming there from Ashbrook. Alexei Poikla throws one just off the neutral zone boards, just missing Ryan Burnett. Waring just shoves a man down to the ice. That was number 25 for Bismarck, who just brought down Zach Kennedy. As the net's been knocked askew again. Play continues here. Donahue fakes the shot, then takes it. Blocked. Waring keeps it at the blue line nicely, but he couldn't play it deep there for Ryan Burnett. Donahue resets at center ice. The last minute of play brought to you by La Quinta Inn & Suites, the official host hotel of your Wichita Falls Wildcats. They change on the fly. A fresh 5 out for Wichita Falls. Here's Toby Flatterby. Will drop it for streaking Von Steinbergs on the left wing. Defended by Orgill. Von Steinbergs throws it off the side of the net. As it stays out, Nick Alexander looking, centering. Von Steinberg's had it at his skate, couldn't do much with it. And here comes Carballo, floating one high in the air. Tilly trying to steal it. Skvortsov does steal it. He looks left circle, trying to stick handle. Too many bodies in front of him in the net. 8 seconds to go. Tilly brought down in the near side corner. Carballo pinned up there from behind. Skvortsov has it in the far corner. Puts it on his backhand. Passes it to Canal at the point. Can't get a shot away. Time has expired. And that wraps things up for period 1. 1-0 is your score. Good news for you Wildcats fans. The Wildcats with their first period goal since last Friday night. So finally, they have gotten on the board early and have not fallen behind in a game. Though they did not fall behind yesterday, they also allowed Springfield to get right back in the game later in the period. The Wildcats have managed to hang on to the lead until the end of their first period here, which is good news. A good start for the Wildcats. That period, I'd say, certainly favored the boys in black. So, the Cats with a 1-0 lead coming off the stick of Ryan Burnett, his second shorthanded goal of the season. Another shorthanded assist from Alexei Poikla, by the way. I'd say at least, probably on more than half of Burnett's goals this season were assisted by Alexei Poikla, so he's having a playmaking clinic here at the start of the campaign. Again, 1-0 your score. Ryan Burnett continues to lead the league in both goals and points. 6 goals, 9 points. So a great start to the season for Ryan Burnett. We're going to step aside here in the meantime from Schwann, rink number 4. Take a short break. When we come back, we'll have some scores for you. This time, I promise, from the North American Hockey League. Till then, stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. With you, as always, Wildcats fans, I'm Alex Von Coitel, hoping you're having a great Friday night. From Blaine, Minnesota, Blaine, Minnesota, we certainly are. Wildcats with a 1-0 lead. That's great to hear. Finally, a first period goal scored by Ryan Burnett on a short-handed partial breakaway in which he beat out the Bobcats defenseman with his speed almost and tucked it up and over the glove hand of Will Ulrich to beat the Michigan-born goaltender who has kept his team within striking distance here, who had a pretty strong period himself, did Will Ulrich, but not enough to stop Ryan Burnett, who tucked it up and over him for his AHL leading 6th goal of the season. Burnett off to a red-hot start for the Wildcats this year, no question about it. He has really picked up this team by the bootstraps and gone to work. Burnett with 6 goals on the season. The Bobcats have their work cut out for them as if they want to claw their way back into this game, because Evan Moyes certainly on his night again for the 3rd straight time, it appears. Here in Blaine. About 4 minutes out from our second period beginning, so in the meantime, let's go over some scores from around the North American Hockey League. It was another busy day here in Blaine. It's not over yet. Lots of updates and lots of scores to give you. Austin against Johnstown, the first game of the day. Austin with the win over the Johnstown Tomahawks this morning. 3-2 it looks like was the final, so Johnstown's perfect season here in the early going finally coming to an end. The Topeka Roadrunners had their frustrations handed to them against the Minnesota Wilderness, a 6-2 final against Topeka. Minnesota with a great offensive onslaught, it appeared, right back here on Rink 4 earlier this morning. 6-2 the final over the Topeka Roadrunners, who have struggled a little bit to start their season, just 2-4. The New Jersey Titans won their game over the Springfield Junior Blues, who defeated the Wildcats last night. 4-2 the final in that game in favor of New Jersey. Another Wildcats rival, the Corpus Christi Ice Rays, who are 2-2-1 this season to start the year against the Brookings Blizzard, fell on Rink 2 by a 2-1 final. The Fairbanks Ice Dogs, the Odessa Jackalopes, played on this very same rink right before this game started. A big upset on rink number 4. The Fairbanks Ice Dogs losing their first game in regulation this season. They did lose in overtime earlier in the showcase, so obviously their hopes at repeating as a showcase champion impossible now. They went undefeated in last year's showcase. Are just 1-1-1 this year. The only team they beat was the Wildcats on day number 1. So the Jackalopes with a 3-0 victory over the Fairbanks Ice Dogs. Goals scored by Anderson, Thudium, and Connor Wood. Get used to those names, folks. The Wildcats will be seeing them a lot this season. In fact, right after this showcase is done, the following weekend, the Wildcats will be hosting the Odessa Jackalopes. Next weekend, on a Saturday and Sunday night, the first weekend of October. And finally, the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Knights taking on the Minot Minotauros. 2-1 was the final in that game, so Coach Murray's Minot Minotauros off to a perfect start here in the early season at 4-0, it looks like. The Kenai River Brown Bears taking on the Shreveport Mudbugs as we speak on rink number 2. Shreveport with a 2-1 edge over the Kenai River Brown Bears, who are last season's worst team in the North American Hockey League, hoping to bounce back and have a much stronger year. They do have a point already, the Brown Bears, through just 2 games, so certainly a better start that they're having to this season. Took them a lot longer to get their first point last year. So Kenai hoping to have a bounce-back campaign. Down 2-1 currently to what will soon be the Wildcats' rivals, the Shreveport Mudbugs. Now, both teams back on the ice. The Wildcats, the Bobcats, the clash of cats here on day number 3 at the Schwann Super Rink, rink number 4. 1-0 your score. The only goal in this game off the stick of Ryan Burnett on a short-handed partial breakaway. Alexei Poiklo with another assist, and I'd have to double check, but I would think he's got to be way at the top of the North American Hockey League standings for assists. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to verify that right now. I think there's a good chance that he might even be number 1 in assists this season. Bear with me as I check. Alexei Poikala right now is ranked number 2. I'm not sure they updated the stat from earlier, but he is second behind Wilkes-Barre Scranton's Joseph Campolietto with 5 assists on the campaign. Again, not sure if that includes the one he just had in this game. So, sole possession of number 2 in the entire league in assists for Alexei Poikala. Welcome back, everybody. Second period hockey underway. Thanks for joining us. The second period of Wildcats hockey is brought to you by American Classifieds. Orgel taking his time and dumping it. He's hit from behind by Toby Flatterby, who has it on his stick now. Throws one off the stick of Barry. Matthew Barry goes into the Wildcats zone. Poikala will swoop in, pick up possession. Throws it behind his net for Ryan Orgel. It's punched out to center. Here comes Ryan Burnett with Poikala. Burnett across for Poikala. Pass a bit behind him. And going crashing into the net, knocking it off its pegs, was Bismarck's number 22, Jordan Freilich. Again, folks, don't know what it is about this net. Just doesn't want to stay put. Ilya Skvortsov's line with its first opportunity here in the period. Off an offensive zone faceoff. Skvortsov is replaced by Tilly. And now Tilly is replaced by Carballo. After all that confusion, Junger won the faceoff anyways. Tilly with the steal, couldn't center it. Carballo has it left point. Backhands it along the corner boards. Tilly pinned up, squeezed off of possession. Bismarck still trying to clear here as Carballo plays up the body on Peter von Steinbergs. Ilya Skvortsov trying to jab it back to Seamus Donahue, who has possession at center ice. Seamus goes D-to-D now for Jonathan Waring. Puck scoot along a little bit too far into Waring's path. He recollects it, throws it in. Wildcats couldn't keep it, however. Seamus Donahue stick handling his way back into the Bismarck zone. Throws it across for Tilly, who tried to return it for him, but he couldn't slide it through Nicholas McKeeby. McKeeby and Rezegi fighting for it now, but Carballo ends up with it on his stick. Ricky Carballo dancing his way into the slot. He goes tumbling down. Jumping over him was Freilich. Here's a shot from Rezegi, swallowed by Evan Moyes. Minutes into the second period, 1-0 remains your score. Wildcats fans, Ryan Burnett with the lone goal of the game. It was another shorty. If I were to take a bet, I will say right now, on the air, you heard it here first. Ryan Burnett, barring injury, will lead the NHL in shorthanded goals this season. Dom Sipis, without his helmet, skates to the Wildcats bench, where he's replaced by Roman Canal instead of Ryan Orgel. Centering pass is picked off pretty easily there by C.J. Regula. Slides it up ice, down into the right side corner. Regula met by Rezegi. Meanwhile, Kabinia hoping to center it for Prappis. The play was broken up nicely there by the Bismarck defender. Tanner Breidenbach, stripped of possession by Isaac Kabinia. Will throw it low. Regula using his size. Found Orgel in a little too tight. Lost possession. Out to center, it's Brandon Young. Mismatch overskates the puck. Kabinia off the intercept. Tripped up a little bit. Kabinia will try to drop it back to Roman Canal. No luck. Thrown off the neutral zone boards. Canal springs it back ahead. Here comes Prappis. Kabinia is the trailer. Prappis with a good toe drag. He ran out of real estate. Great poke check there by Will Ulrich to prevent any kind of shot being thrown on net by Brendan Prappis. And in the meantime, Bismarck has just iced the puck. 3 minutes into this game, Wildcats still with a 1-0 lead. Bismarck Bobcats. The last time these two teams met was Game 2 of the Robertson Cup Semi-Finals in Edina, Minnesota. The Wildcats would come from behind to win that game 5-2 and eliminate the Bobcats from the Robertson Cup playoffs. Bismarck was the second to last team to be eliminated. The last team eliminated was the Wildcats in the championship game. That was an ugly looking tumble there in the neutral zone. Kevin Fees is all right. Thrown into the right side corner again by CJ Walker this time. Throws it low and around the end boards for Bobby DeFriest. DeFriest sized up by Mismash, who stick handles beautifully away from the pressure coming from CJ Walker. Then sidesteps Bobby DeFriest. Mismash smoothly across the Cats line. Bodied up by 3 Wildcats right in his grill. Here comes Ryan Burnett flying down his off wing and in over the Bismarck line. Spins and drops it for Donahue, who tried to tuck along the return pass. Unsuspecting there was Burnett. Bismarck slaps it out to center. On a rush now, it's Kevin Ness down the left wing. Breaking towards the net there was number 24, Joey Sardina. Couldn't get a shot. Left point, good keep by Altman. Lost possession. Waring back to play it behind his goal line. Waring throws it off the neutral zone boards. Here comes Jonathan Bendorf down the right side. Drops it for Burnett. His blast blockered away by Will Ulrich with another big stop. Bendorf gives a little bump of encouragement to his veteran Ryan Burnett. Bendorf with a nice pass. Again, the Bees coming together last night against Springfield. The Wildcats' only goal came off a pass from Bendorf and a shot from Burnett. Ricky Carballo, Stephen Tilley jostling for possession. Carballo goes crashing there into Nicholas McKeeby. Stephen Tilley has it. Coming off the boards into the slot with the shot and the goal. Stephen Tilley's first Wildcat goal, and it's a beauty. It's 2-0 Cats.
15-14 to go here. The Bobcats are just having all.
So Stephen Tilley, who is one of the latest additions to this Wildcats team, a former teammate of Bobby DeFriest with the Portland Junior Pirates in the USPHL, with his first goal as a Wildcat this season, the Cats caught offside. The great screenshot, Stephen Tilley, continuing to give the Bobcats some defensive problems. A mess for Bismarck here in the early going. But what a shot that was from Stephen Tilley. Big bad turnover, ripping a shot off the glove of Evan Moyes. There was Peter von Steinberg's. Moyes turned to the side, and von Steinberg's back hustling to get it in his own corner. Junger punches it down the left wing for Zach Kennedy. Kennedy goes crashing into Orgel, who goes tumbling down. Canal takes a shove from Kennedy, advances it as far as Junger, who keeps it. Junger throws it into the other corner. Kennedy is there. Throws it low. Junger spins away from Orgel. He looks. He's got a man fresh off the bench who heads towards the net. Junger swings it low. Kennedy to the net. Pad save. Rebound. Moyes the stop again. It's still loose. And finally, the Wildcats get some sticks on the puck, and they throw it down into the Bismarck end. Brendan Young. Stephen Tilley. Throw it back into the direction of Tanner Reidenbach. Skvortsov picks the pocket of Parker Mismash. Here comes Ilya Skvortsov dancing his way in. His dangle attempt went off the skate of Brandon Young. Could have been a beautiful move had he pulled that one off. The net's been knocked askew once again, so we get a whistle and a stoppage of play. 6.5 to go in this second period. 2-0 your score in favor of the Wildcats. Ryan Burnett with his 6th goal of the season, and Stephen Tilley with his first Wildcats goal. And that was a big one to give the Cats an insurance lead. This is their first multi-goal game of the tournament thus far here in Blaine, Minnesota. Alexei Poikala picks up the puck off the defensive zone faceoff and will start the breakout. Throws one over a Bobcat stick on the tape for Bendorf, who's shot waffle boarded aside by Ulrich. Burnett and Bendorf go crashing into the corner boards. Donahue scales it back down the wall. Poikala picks up possession at the left point. Will leave it off for Seamus. Goes D to D now for Jonathan Waring, who lets it go. Glove snagged by Will Ulrich. 7 minutes into the second, 2-0 Cats. Stephen Tilley scoring the most recent goal, who has seen a lot of power play time, probably hoping to get his first goal sooner than he did. It was a long time coming for Stephen Tilley. You could see the excitement in his body language and on his face after he put that one in the back of the net. Had a tremendous season last year with Portland in the USPHL. So taking over possession now, it's Nicholas McKeeby at center ice. Peter von Steinbergs flies down the left side, throws it off a teammate's skate. Off the intercept, here comes big Kevin Fees. Hammers a slap shot, miss on the blocker side. Bounces out on the left wing. Chipped up ahead, could be a 2-on-1. DeFries hustles back, here's the pass, here's the shot. Big stop there by Evan Moyes. Sardina with a point-blank opportunity on Moyes, who robbed him. Sardina, the former Kenai River Brown Bear, played against the Wildcats last season on day 3 of the showcase. That would have been a game to forget for Sardina. Roman Canal tries to push it up for Isaac Cabinia. It's left point. From there, it's swung low by Vesio. Here comes CJ Regula across the blue line. Cabinia heads towards the net. Regula with the shot, squeaks through. CJ Regula's first Wildcats goal. He beat Will Ulrich. It somehow snuck through his equipment, and the Wildcats have tripled their lead. It's 3-0. So 2 players scoring their first Wildcats goal tonight. It's been an offensive onslaught from the Wildcats. Maybe it's just something about playing on Friday nights, folks. Last Saturday night, the Cats did not score a goal in the first period. It took them all the way until late in the second before Ryan Burnett scored a power play goal unassisted. So Cabinia was given the assist on that last play, as per the public address announcer here on rink number 4. But anyways, last Saturday, no goals in the first period. Wednesday against Fairbanks, nothing in the first period. Thursday, yesterday, against Springfield, nothing in the first period. Just 1 goal in the last 2 games. Tonight, 3. And the game's not even halfway completed yet. Friday nights undoubtedly have been the Wildcats' bread and butter to start the year. Jonathan Waring has it in front of the opposing net. The opposing bench, I should say. Hobbles one out into the neutral zone. Ricky Carballo settles things down. Pushed into the near half wall. Ashbrook tries to pry possession off the stick of Seamus Donahue, and we get a whistle. Yesterday, CJ Regula had a very close call. He rung one off the post. It was ever so close to going into the back of the net. I think it went off the near side post, if I'm not mistaken. And just stayed out. Came so close, hit the inside of the near post. So Regula denied of his first Wildcats goal last night. Not tonight. He and Tilly each with their first as a Wildcat. Donahue to fetch it in the far side corner. He throws it directly into the Bobcats bench. The head coach, Lane Sedovey, ducks, takes evasive action. Who is Bismarck's ace on the face-off dot, but has struggled in this game, loses another one. Last season, Rezegi was the Bobcats' bread and butter, their go-to defensive forward. Tries to turn one on net, didn't get through. Poikala blocked it. Burnett clears it. He's slammed into the penalty boxes, but he made the play and got up behind the Bismarck net, and that's the important thing. Bendorf couldn't win possession. Mismatch. Advancing up now through center ice. Puts it across the Wichita Falls blue line. Here's Dom Sipis turning with it in his own zone. Sipis throws a saucer pass in the direction of Bendorf. On his tape, he advanced it a little bit too far for Burnett. Evan Moyes has it behind his crease. Throws one away from Parker, mismatch. Going back out to center. Freilich turns away from Ryan Burnett. Good patient play by Freilich. Mismatch ran into Jonathan Bendorf. The RPI commit. Thrown back in. Freilich back to fetch it. Overskates possession. Burnett will try to steal it from him. Freilich swats it along past Millen to the blue line. It's Orgel. Gets one of the forwards to bite. Takes it down the wall. In behind the Bismarck net and looks. Orgel patiently throwing it into the slot. Intercepted. Didn't get to Burnett. Mismatch advancing it down the right wing side. A little bit too far for Brandon Young. The Wildcats in a good spot here as they're able to just work it out harmlessly down the left wing. Kevin Fees and C.J. Walker into the corner to pursue it. Freilich takes the body on Walker, as does Young and Ness, the last of whom won possession from Walker. Now Young had his pocket picked by Kevin Fees. Fees looking, backhanding one, intercepted. He tried to get it to Walker. Good pick by Brandon Young, thrown out to center. Turning on the Jets there, number 24 for Bismarck. Joey Sardina skates behind the opposing net. With it on his stick, it's Ashton Altman. Back to the blue line. Altman gets the return from the point pass there from 14 of the Bobcats. Nicholas McKeeby, the long shot was blocked. Now on the right side, it's thrown in deep by Tanner Breidenbach. In low behind the Wildcats net. Thrown back up high, McKeeby keeps it left point nicely on his opposite side. A right-handed shooting defenseman on the left side. He wants to take the one-timer here, but pass wasn't quite in his wheelhouse. Calling for it back door. McKeeby threw it way too high for Altman to be able to do anything with it. So he has to spin it back to the right side point. Breidenbach, the long shot, just wide of the right post. I don't think Moyes ever saw it. Biggest surge of the period, perhaps of the game for Bismarck. McKeeby throws it low. Cats scrambling, a little bit exhausted here. Kevin Fees, it looks like, can barely skate right now. Neither can Ryan Orgel. Finally, looks like the Cats might be able to get a much-needed line change. The Bobcats will try to catch them in the midst of it. Their forwards calling for the breakout pass. Alexander works his way to the net, and we get an offside whistle, a very late offside whistle, to blow the play dead. But try telling that to the players. Bismarck's offense struggling to get going. The Cats doing a good job shutting them down. It's been another pretty good defensive battle for Wichita Falls. Their defensemen, their forwards, their goaltender, Evan Moyes, all buying in. Fighting hard to get their first win of the 2016 showcase. It would technically be their first road victory of the season if they can pull it off. in just their second road game. Yesterday counted as a home game against the Springfield Junior Blues. So Seamus Donahue throws it off the stick of Isaac Cabinia. Flatterby, in the meantime, sends one into the left side corner. Moyes behind his net, wraps it around the near corner glass. A little bit beyond Flatterby. He's able to catch up with it with one hand on his stick, controls the puck and shoots into the glove of Ulrich, and no rebound. So Ulrich looking a little bit shaky after a very strong first period. CJ Regula was able to shoot through his equipment and into the back of the net, and Stephen Tilley able to beat him off a screen shot. Not sure that Tilley goal was necessarily Ulrich's fault, but the third one from Regula, Ulrich probably would like to have back. So Junger wins the defensive zone draw, an important draw to Ulrich's right. Bismarck able to clear it. Double collision there on Tristan Ashbrook. Meanwhile, Waring trying to pry the puck loose. There's a delayed penalty. The Wildcats will be back to the penalty kill, it looks like here, for the second time in the game. But we'll see if Bismarck decides to respect the speed of Ryan Burnett this time around. The Wildcats 1 for 1 on the Parkway Grill penalty kill tonight. Burnett, Poikola, Sipus, and Seamus Donahue on the ice for this PK. Rezegi, Mismash, Flatterby, and a bunch of other veterans on the ice for Bismarck. Toby Flatterby has it behind his goal line. Jordan Freilich will join him on the rush, as will Tyler Rezegi and Parker Mismash, who gets it on the right side. Mismash throws it behind the Wildcats' goal. Dom Sipus, met by a couple of enemy cats in behind his net. The puck bounces off a Bismarck player in their bench. So the face-off, I believe, will stay in the Wildcat zone because it looked like it was a Wildcat who threw it off of one of them. So the linesman discussing it now. They agree to put it out to center. It off a Wichita Falls or a Bismarck stick. Seamus and Sipus skate off the ice. Orgel and Canal are on. Poikola, Burnett remain the forwards on this PK. Burnett has it on his stick after the puck battle was won by the Wildcats. Burnett throws one to the left wing off the boards for Poikola, who shoots one on goal, and the rebound just eludes the stick of Ryan Burnett, who would have had a pretty good point-blank look on Will Ulrich on the bounce. So Jordan Freilich will take over as he waits for things to unfold in front of him. He's going to let his forwards complete a line change here. Freilich dishes now for Junger. Austin Junger through center. Across the Wichita Falls line, goes into the right side corner. Will leave it back to the blue line. Thrown well wide of the net, slapped around the boards by Orgel. Junger goes down the wall to play the puck. Altman does, rather. Junger's still at the right point. The Wildcats have cleared it again. 40 seconds to go on their penalty to Jonathan Waring. Ulrich to leave it. Oh, and Cabinia goes crashing into the net, which has been knocked askew once again. Something about that net. 4:42 the time showing in the second period, the time remaining. 3-0 your score. Ryan Burnett with a goal. Stephen Tilley with a goal. CJ Regula with a goal for the Wildcats, with their first multi-goal lead of the entire tournament thus far. Their first multi-goal game, I should add. They've scored more in this game alone than they had in the previous two combined against Fairbanks and Springfield. Here comes Nick Alexander, the Bismarck veteran, off to the left side for Matthew Berry. He decided not to go to Young, goes low. Alexander returns it. Berry goes cross ice in the right circle. It's Junger shooting it, swallowing it there. Evan Moyes with another big stop. Junger looked like he wanted to be able to one-time that puck, but wasn't quite in the right area for him to be able to do that. It was a little bit behind him. Had it been between his skates, Junger could have just slapped it on net. He had to reach behind him a little bit, which gave Moyes the time to adjust and skate over and cut down the angle more than he would have been able to do so had the puck been fired instantly. So, this is a tip. If you have the ability to one-time, if you're confident in your one-time shot, do it. Makes life so much more difficult on goaltenders. Cypus crunches up a man along the end boards. He's going to go to the box and then just gives a little shove to the face of Matthew Berry. The Wildcats will go to a 5-on-3, a brief 5-on-3 penalty. Cypus with a boarding penalty behind his own net. I don't think this is going to go for anything more than a 2-minute minor. There is a Bobcat player who was hit that can't quite make out the number. We're so far into the corner here on rink 4. I can't see all the way down there because of all the crowd, around him. Cypus to the box. Not sure if it'll be 2 or 5. And the Bismarck trainer, sounds like it'll just be 2. The Bismarck trainer out to the injured Bobcat on the play to make sure he's all right. Looking hit. Did not look pretty after he went down. Dom Cypus is a load. He is 6'5". He's over 200 pounds now. You would not want to get crushed up along the end boards by him. He's also built up a lot of muscle over the offseason. Much better skater. So the fans here applauding as the Bismarck player is back on his skates as he skates directly down the tunnel. Like that might have been Ashton Altman, number 26 for the Bobcats, behind his own net, who was crushed by Dom Cypus. 2-minute, you can assume to be either boarding or checking from behind penalty against Cypus. The referee Ian Gendro over the timekeepers to discuss what the call will be. The linesman Rasmussen taking Dom off of the ice here. Screen. Cypus might be done for the night here, folks. Could have just been a 2 and a 5 or a 2 and a 10 in a game misconduct. So it is a 5-minute major. Cypus's night, I believe, is done. Certainly for the rest of the period, he will not be back in this game. So the Wildcats have a very long power play to kill off here for Bismarck. Mishmash carries across the Wichita Falls line, wrapped it around the wall, too far for Waring. Puck slapped to the side of the net, backdoor opportunity, backhand shot, and a goal. Didn't take long for the Bobcats to get going on that power play. Good cross-crease pass, Toby Flatterby on his backhand, able to shovel it past Evan Moyes to finally get the Bobcats on the board, so ending the shutout bid of Evan Moyes. 3-1 the score in favor of the Wildcats, just 21 seconds into the penalty against Demantis Cypus. So here's Ryan Burnett again displaying that great speed. That's Cabinia, rather. Leaving it to the left point for Canal, whose shot turned aside by the goaltender, Ulrich. And now Bismarck will take over and work this breakout from in behind their own net. Parker Mismash streaking now through center. The Bobcat veteran throws it opposite corner. Orgel slaps it off the wall, hobbles off the stick of the Bismarck defender, Jordan Freilich. Here comes Ryan Orgel on his backhand. Couldn't pull the trigger, didn't see a lane. Eventually spun one towards the net, blocked by Rezegi.
Scoring the power play, goal for the Bismarck Bobcats, number 40, Tobias Flatby. He gets assist on the goal for number 15, Jared Rizugi, and number 89, Parker Mishmash. That's Flatby from Rizugi and Mishmash.
Young with the shot saved away by Moyes. Now Bailey. Inside Junger.
So Junger has it right point, throws it low and into the corner behind the Wildcats net now. Junger's going to keep the play alive here from the right point, and he will swing it low for Millen. Millen sized up by Ryan Orgel. Alexander in to help out his teammate Millen. Now it's Barry behind the Wildcats net. Back up high for Junger, whose shot blocked by Ryan Burnett. Poikala jars it free. He's joined by Burnett, who heads straight to the goal. Poikala trying to filter it through. Good pass blocked there by Brandon Young. Nick Alexander will start the rush back out of the Bismarck end. 2 minutes to go in the second period here. 3-1 your score in favor of the Wildcats. Matthew Berry throws it into the Waring corner. Waring crunched up from behind. No penalty on that. This has been an extremely one-sided called game. No question about it. Turning and shooting. We get a whistle and a stoppage of play. Waring is still down. The fact that that is not a penalty is beyond me. Demantis Cypus went to the penalty box for 5 minutes, and maybe this will be a penalty. Waring is down. The referee did not put his arm in the air. Dom Cypus was kicked out of the game, at least for the rest of the period, after the hit behind the opposing net. And Jonathan Waring hit shortly thereafter in a very similar looking play. It doesn't seem like anything's going to come from it. Goes straight down the tunnel after taking that ugly hit in his own corner in the Wildcats' end. The Wildcats coaching staff certainly frustrated against Fairbanks with the penalties called. 5 power plays for the Wildcats against Fairbanks on Wednesday, and just 9 penalties against them. So 9 power plays for Fairbanks. And, a lot of the things that were called against the Wildcats were not called against Fairbanks, and very similar looking plays. So Tony Curtali, Josh Nelson upset about the calling done from that game, very upset. Springfield, it was not an issue. There were very few penalties called on either side. Tonight, the officiating has not been much better than the Fairbanks game, one bit, as Moyes covers up a wrist shot from the slot. Dom Cypus' night is done. A 5-minute boarding major is an auto ejection from the game, so his night is over. The Wildcats will be playing the game without the services of Cypus and without the services of Waring. 2 of their key defenders unavailable. Only one right shooting defenseman now who's accustomed to playing on the right side. Ryan Orgel, the only one remaining. He's going to be seeing a heck of a lot of ice time, folks, for the rest of the game. He's out there now. He will be exhausted by the time this game comes to an end. No doubt about it. Here's a turning and shot. Denied there by Evan Moyes. Fought off the shot from Nick Alexander. Now it's Zach Kennedy along the boards. Throws it low in behind the Cats net for Jared Rezegi. Rezegi will try to cycle it up high. Goes all the way through for Jugger, who shot. Tipped on goal. Stopped by Moyes. Rezegi has it in the far side corner. Dropped off. Mismatch has it. Left half board. Slaps a shot. Scores! Parker Mismatch with a bomb. The former Wildcat haunting his own teammates. And it's 3-2. The Bobcats right back in this game. So that's a 5-minute major penalty against Demantis Cypus for boarding. Really coming back to haunt the Wildcats now. They've given up 2 power play goals against on this very long Bismarck power play. Parker Mismatch, the ex-Wildcat, with a bullet from the left circle off that slap shot. Cleanly beat Evan Moyes. Puck has flown ahead down the ice into Bismarck territory. Ulrich will leave it. Turned it over. Kabini had it go between his skates. Fees on the forecheck, pried it free from Young. On the opposite point, Burnett drives one. Nearly ricocheted on goal. Fees nearly got a stick on it, but he didn't. Those dozen seconds to go in the second period here. Oh, and just offside there was Matthew Berry. The Bobcats not happy with that call. That was close. Berry nearly was in on a breakaway. A beautiful pass found him between the defense, behind the defense, but just offside as per the linesman. So the faceoff will come all the way back to the Bismarck zone. Tough call against the Bobcats. Haven't said that too much this evening. Wicklow to take the face-off now to Ulrich's right. Wins it cleanly over Barry. Orgella drive, just missed the opposite post, and Canal has it on the other side with a wrist shot. Stopped, Burnett's backhander blocked. Didn't look like it was going on net anyways. The second period comes to an end, 3-2 your score. The Wildcats having scored 3 unanswered to start. Bismarck roaring back to put 2 in the back of the Wildcats net. Back-to-back goals. The first came off the stick of Bismarck's number 12, or 40 rather, Tobias Flatterby, and the next came off the stick of the ex-Wildcat Parker Mismash to bring his team to within 1. 3-2 your score heading into the third period. Dom Sipus ejected from the hockey game after boarding the Bismarck player behind the Wildcats net. Ashton Altman, I believe, was the unfortunate party who was hit behind the Cats net. So Sipus's night is done. 5-minute major for boarding is an auto ejection from the game in this league. Sipus is done, and Waring was hit in pretty similar fashion and was not. The Bobcats were not given a penalty for the hit. So 3-2 your score, 20 minutes to go. When we come back, we'll have some updates for you from around the league, break down that second period for you as well as we can, and get you ready and fired up for the third period of Wildcats hockey, presented by American Classifieds. In the meantime, stay tuned, everyone. We'll be back. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Hope you're enjoying your. I got you. Del Ponte, one of the healthy scratches tonight, has been requesting a shout out for the last couple of games, and I have not given him one. I'll give it to him right now. Kareem Del Ponte, Sammy Farrowin, Ethan Daniels, Daniel Goodwin, Alex Rowe, Blake Ripley. Tonight's healthy scratches for the Wildcats. A shout out to them as they look on as their teammates lead the Bismarck Bobcats by a score of 3-2. Despite the promising look in the score, that was not the easiest period for the Wildcats, especially at the end there, towards the second half when they started getting into some major penalty trouble. They had 2 minors to kill off, did the Wildcats, against Bismarck, and then a 5-minute major taken by Dementis Cypus for boarding in behind the Wildcats' net on Bismarck's Ashton Altman, in which Cypus really just plowed him down to the ice. It wasn't a clean-looking hit. Not sure if it necessarily warranted a game ejection, but that was the call as per the referee, Ian Gendro. So Cypus' night is done. The Wildcats without their only veteran defenseman for the rest of this hockey game for the next 20 minutes. That's not good news considering they need to hold on to a very delicate 1-goal lead for the next 20 minutes unless they can go back out there and get an insurance goal. But that's probably going to be difficult if they keep heading to the penalty box. That has been the story of the showcase here for the Wildcats. Against Fairbanks, they went to the box 9 times. Yesterday against Springfield was a different story. They certainly picked up the discipline, but tonight they're having problems again. Dom Cypus with a 5-minute major and a game ejection for boarding, so his night is done. The Cats also had an issue with Jonathan Waring after he was elbowed in the back of the neck. How that wasn't a 5-minute major or any kind of a penalty is absolutely beyond me. Not the best officiating here tonight. We've seen that. That has been clear. But the Wildcats have just got to put their heads down, keep working hard, and try to pull this game together and stay in front here. The Wildcats will have 48 seconds to kill off the Dementis Cypus major penalty after the third period kicks off. So 3-2, just a second, folks. About that, 3-2 your score. The goals, let's break down the goals for you real quick. The first 3 scored by the Cats. 2 players scoring their first goal as a Wildcat, Stephen Tilley and CJ Regula with tonight's second and third goal. Ryan Burnett with the first. That goal came back in the first period off a short-handed partial breakaway. So Burnett, Tilley, and Regula, the Wildcats goal scorers. Mismash and Toby Flattaby, 2 Bismarck veterans, putting the puck in the back of the net for the Bobcats. Mismash, the ex-Wildcat, haunting his old teammates with a slap shot from the left circle and a BB and a half to beat Evan Moyes. And Mismash left a little bit on the outside. Some of the Cats not respecting his firepower. He was given all kinds of time to just tee it up and let it rip. Score. We've got about 4 minutes remaining before the third period of Wildcats hockey, brought to you by American Classifieds, is brought your way. In the meantime, we're going to step aside one last time, go to one last break. When we come back, we'll have third period hockey for you and so much more. Stay with us, everyone. Okay, everyone, welcome back. Hope you've enjoyed the game up till this point. This one is just getting started, folks. It got really interesting. It was all Wildcats up until, I'd say, probably the last 5 minutes of that second period, in which Demantis Cyprus was given a 5-minute major for boarding and a game ejection. After that, this has been a hockey game once again. Toby Flatterby with a goal for Bismarck on a backhander that beat Evan Moyes, and Parker Mismash with a slap shot and a half to beat Evan Moyes again. Back-to-back unanswered goals. Bismarck with the last two and all the momentum in this game in the late stages of the power play against Demantis Cyprus. As Mismash swings one back to the blue line, hoping to get it to his defenseman back there. The pass just missing his stick. It was Toby Flatterby actually manning the point. And the Bobcats will get one last rush on their power play as the Wildcats Parkway Grill penalty kill slowly and mercifully comes to an end. Jonathan Waring's back on the ice for the Wildcats, who took that ugly elbow to the back of the neck earlier. That's good to see. Here's a shot. Kennedy run one just wide off the back glass. Kennedy swings it down low. It's picked up by Parker Mismash. Waring will try to stop him from scoring a second. Mismash stick handling, lost it there to Tilly. Tilly swings one off the stick of Carballo, who tips it into the offensive zone behind the Bismarck goal line. Carballo gives a Bismarck player a run for his money down there behind the opposing net. Nicholas McKeeby, as it's scooped out by Tanner Vesio, will try to clear. Back to the point, wearing a drive, just missed, right post. Nearly had the tip from Skvortsov. Donahue with a good poke check. Skvortsov overskating it, bounces off his right skate. He keeps it alive in the offensive zone. Here's Tilly on his forehand with a shot that slides through the blue paint and just wide of the right post. Bismarck the other way. Altman advances it. Waring goes down. Donahue dives. Sardina will drive. He centers, and the one-timer trickled just wide of the post. And Moyes has reset the net himself this time. Here comes Ricky Carballo down the right wing. Carballo looking, falling. Bismarck clearing. Altman throws the puck off of Moyes' stick. Blake Kriska now for Ryan Orgel, Los Angeles native. Looking, finding Regula, breaking out through center. Regula with a goal to his credit this evening. Put it into the left side corner for Brendan Prappis. Regula for Prappis in the circle with a shot. Glove snagged by Will Ulrich. Here early in period 3, it's a 3-2 hockey game in favor of the Wildcats, but Bismarck, the last two to score, were a couple of Bobcats veterans, Tobias Flatterby and Parker Mismash, who have once again made this a hockey game. Kevin Fees puts the body up on Nick Alexander now along the far half boards and near the Bismarck bench. Bobcats fail to clear it, courtesy of Blake Kriska. Fees for DeFries. DeFries with a shot, glove save, rebound, picked up before Fees could slam it into the net. Nick Alexander bailing his teammates out, clearing out to center, and the Bobcats onside here. It's Barry driving the net, pad save, and hugging the post was Evan Moyes to keep the puck out of the net, and a job well done to Evan Moyes. Big saves on both ends of the ice. On one end, it was Will Ulrich robbing Bobby DeFries, a natural goal scorer, with the glove. Bobby DeFries led his team last season, if I'm not mistaken, the Portland Junior Pirates in goals. A sniper, if ever there was one, was the only Wildcat to record a hat trick at the Wichita Falls main camp. He knows how to shoot the puck, and big stop was made on one end, and then at the other, Evan Moyes with an equally strong save on Matthew Barry. Playing on Bismarck's top line this evening. Junger will swing it low now to Zach Kennedy. Kennedy with one of the assists on the first goal for the Bobcats. It was scored by Toby Flatterby. Junger diving after Regula, who spins with it. And Jonathan Waring throws it up through the neutral zone. Prappis shoots one into the right corner in the attacking end. Prappis behind the Bismarck net, swerving his way into the left side corner. Plays the body up on 21 for Bismarck, Tristan Ashbrook. Ashbrook will try to clear. He succeeds. He got it past Seamus Donahue at the point. But an icing is whistled against Bismarck as Waring is back to touch it up. 16:25 to go in the third. 3-2 Wildcats. Long penalty kill finally comes to an end. They're back to 5 skaters aside. 3 for 5 now on the Parkway Grill penalty kill. Poikala will swing it back out to the neutral zone for Seamus Donahue. After he ran out of real estate, Donahue flings one out of play over the glass on the left side corner on the Bismarck end. 4 minutes into the third, the Cats still protecting a tenuous 1-goal lead here on rink number 4. Wildcats' big guns up front, Ryan Burnett, Alexei Poikala, Jonathan Bendorf. Win the neutral zone face-off. Does the Wildcats veteran forward line. Now here's Ryan Orgel. Now that Dom Sipis' night is done as the puck deflects off of the ceiling, Sipis' night is done. The Wildcats with only 2 veterans on the ice for the rest of this game. Bismarck on the other hand with 6. Toby Flatterby, Nick Alexander, Jared Rezegi, Parker Mismash, Peter von Steinbergs, and Jordan Freilich. So here's Millen, backhanding a saucer pass onto the tape for Tanner Vesio. Smoothly gaining the Wildcats' blue line. Shoots it off the backboards. Burnett will try to swat it out of there. Jumping and gloving it down just offside there was Rezegi as he goes crashing down to the ice. An offside whistle is blown against Bismarck. We saw a play very similar to that one yesterday in which Blake Kriska jumped high in the air, Air Jordan-like, kept the puck alive at the left point. Who says hockey players can't jump? So we should have given Kriska number 23 instead of Walker. Long neutral zone shot, no problems there for the goaltender, Will Ulrich. Bismarck trying to clear it. They jostle for it in the corner, on the right corner. Ilya Skvortsov picks it up. Throws one to the left point. Long shot from Kriska, blocked. Ricky Carballo rather, outnumbered 2-1. Gets some help finally from Skvortsov, but too little, too late. Bismarck out with possession. Down through center, Blake Kriska crashes into one of the Bismarck players who had the puck on his stick. Bit of an ugly looking collision as both players went tumbling down. Kriska will get the call. And an embellishment penalty called against Matthew Barry of Bismarck. And he is not happy. He cannot understand the call one bit. Tripping against Kriska, embellishment against Barry. Interesting. Boy. We're 5 minutes into the third. No score in this third period. 3-2 your score in the game. The Wildcats still with a slight edge in the score department as a long right point shot swallowed by Evan Moyes. Brendan Prappis exchange places on the bench. Fees on the ice, Prappis to the bench. Regula to take the face-off against Junger for Fairbanks, or for Bismarck rather. Kabinia to take his place. Alexander to take the place of Junger. Kabinia won the faceoff. Here's Ryan Orgel. Throws one in the air off the stick of Kevin Fees. Here's Junger. Good zone entry here by the Bobcats. Canal's going to have to deal with this puck behind his net. Reverses the pass for Ryan Orgel on his own end. Look to make the breakout here. Orgel, the ex-Brockville Brave in the Canadian Junior Hockey League. Down his off wing on his backhand. Try to scoot it along. He's outnumbered. Throws it out in front somehow from a terrible angle. And the Bobcats escape with no harm done here as it's brought down the right side by Alexander, who rips one wide of the blocker side of Evan Moyes. Peter von Steinbergs goes tumbling, courtesy of Kabinia. Fees' shot, ripped it just wide of the glove side. Seamus Donahue in front of his own bench. Now for Roman Canal. The Wildcats short-handed on right shooting defenseman now that Sipis is out of the game. Canal playing on that right side, not his natural position. Will dig the puck out of the fray. Finding Seamus now on the left wing. Seamus to the opposite side for Kevin Fees down his off wing. Throws it in deep to the end boards. C.J. Walker to pick up possession. Walker spins away from Vesio. Drops it off now for Bobby DeFriest. Seamus Donahue at the left point. Throws it behind the Bismarck goal. C.J. Walker working the end boards. Rattles it along. Down goes DeFriest. And that's not a penalty. What a surprise. Here's Peter von Steinbergs. Bismarck into the attacking zone. Puck dropped back out to center. Evan Moyes couldn't play it, just missed his stick. Bobby DeFriest to drop it off. Jonathan Waring threw it a little bit too far for Poikila. Seamus Donahue picks up possession in his own zone. Throws it down the ice as the puck bobbles its way into the left side corner. Ryan Burnett is there. He looks. He's got Orgel. Directs it nicely to the right side for Waring, who tries to throw it back door. Bendorf was there. The puck hit a Bismarck stick, or that would have been a tap-in goal for Jonathan Bendorf. He's got it on his tape now. The RPI commit swerving his way to the top of the right point. Tried to go back to the other side for Roman Canal. Play broken up. Bismarck will clear. Nearly 8 minutes into this third period. No scoring has taken place in the final 20 thus far. Joey Sardina steals the puck. There's an opportunity in front of the net. Good breakup by Orgel. Burnett will swing it off the boards, but not out. Burnett and Poikila come together to swing the puck across. Rink wide there for Canal, and it's swatted directly out of play. I believe this faceoff will stay in neutral ice. 11:57 showing on the clock. The Cats still with a 3-2 lead. Burnett, Tilley, Regula, the Wildcats goal scorers. Flatterby and Mismash, the Bobcats goal scorers, in that order. Ricky Carballo nearly coughed it up right to Toby Flatterby. Jumping at the left point again to keep it was Borman. His shot blocked. Here comes Ricky Carballo. Play broken up by a diving Junger. Here's Skvortsov with a sharp angle bid. Smothered up by Ulrich rather. Will Ulrich with the save on Ilya Skvortsov. Junger with a really good diving back check to break up the play. Ricky Carballo had an opportunity on the rush. Stephen Tilley has it. Although he is sized up by a couple of Bobcats. Works its way back onto his tape. He shoots. The shot was blocked by Brendan Young and nearly bounced its way right into Skvortsov's wheelhouse, who would have had a tap in. And we've got a Bobcat player down, Nick Alexander, right in front of his bench. The halfway point of this third period. 3-2 remains your score. Bismarck still with 2 unanswered. Isaac Cabinia will take this face-off. Ulrich's right. It's won cleanly here by Bismarck, but thrown off the stick of C.J. Regula. Here comes Isaac Cabinia. Pushed the puck along a little bit too far into his path, but he gets it back courtesy of Prappis. Tries to go rink wide with that pass on the backhand. Snuffed out. Here comes Bismarck the other way. Parker Mismatch looking for his second. Gives it across. Too far for Kennedy. Play broken up nicely by Waring. Regula up for Cabinia. He's slammed with a hip check into the neutral zone glass. Regula pushes it into the right side corner. Looked like he took a high stick. Nothing called. Orgel waiting for the pass at the blue line. Stopping on a dime, giving it to him. There was Regula. Orgel will unload it. It was blocked. Went into the left side corner, and a Mismatch will leave it. The puck shoveled directly out of play by the Bobcats defense. 10:31 now showing on the clock. 3-2 your score in favor of the Cats. The Wildcats, not the Bobcats. Don't forget, folks, tomorrow morning the Wildcats have an early broadcast at 9:15 a.m. right back here at rink number 4 against the Aston Rebels. The first time the Wildcats will face the Aston Rebels since they've gone by that name. Von Steinbergs didn't have it on his wheelhouse. He had to try to kick it and it deflects out of play. That's good news. Halfway through this third period here, 3-2 remains the score in favor of Wichita Falls. Walker in the neutral zone to take the draw. Here's Millen, stick handling in. Orgel broke it up and Millen kicked it on net. That would not have counted had it gone in. Although I have been surprised before in this game. Maybe it would have counted. Again, knocked off its pegs for the umpteenth time here. Showcase. Seems to always be that net. Face-off will take place to Moyes' right. Against Rezegi, Bismarck's ace on the dot, though he has struggled this evening to win face-offs. Rasmussen drops the puck, not won cleanly by either side. Burnett kicks it behind his own goal line, hoping to get it to Roman Canal. Rezegi meets up with it first. Poikala tripped up a little bit. Orgel shovels it along. Von Steinbergs to keep it at the right side point. Bendorf couldn't chip it past him. The puck goes straight out of play near the Irondale Knights hockey flags up there. Now we have officially crossed the halfway point of this third period. 3-2 remains your score in favor of the Wildcats. Again, Burnett with his second shorthanded goal of the season to get the ball rolling, followed by a couple of first goals scored by Stephen Tilley and CJ Regula, each with their first goal as a Wildcat. Burnett tried to throw it up ice for Jonathan Bendorf. Play broken up there and brought down the right wing side. Here comes Bismarck. In behind the net it goes. It's taken in deep there by Joey Sardina. Sardina working for it. Poikala shoved off the puck by Ashton Altman. Altman goes down. Poikala with an easy breakout forthcoming as he throws one in the direction of Burnett, who tried to get past Von Steinbergs. No luck with that, though it was nearly a breakaway again for Ryan Burnett. Orgel. Seamus Donahue. Up and off the stick of Bendorf. Here's Ryan Burnett. Slams on the brakes, drops it for the trailer. It's Bendorf with a shot from a tough angle. Stopped routinely there by Will Ulrich. Neither he nor Moyes have given up a third period goal thus far. Here comes Junger into the attacking zone, just offside. Was Bismarck's defenseman Nicholas McKeeby. Aston Rebels, again, tomorrow's opponent for the Wildcats. An early morning broadcast. We'll be bringing you coverage starting at 9:15 a.m. Central Time. Bismarck back in the Cat zone. So the Wildcats, though they have never played Aston before, they did play the Rio Grande Valley Killer Bees and eliminated them from the South Division playoffs a couple of years ago. And that was the team that Aston used to be, as Moyes covers up a deflecting shot. But Rio Grande relocated, became known as the Aston Rebels. They're now playing their games in the East Division. Alongside the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Knights, the Northeast Generals, the New Jersey Titans, and the Johnstown Tomahawks. New Jersey, by the way, also a new team, or Northeast rather, the Northeast Generals, a new team in this league. As are the Shreveport Mudbugs, new this season, become a regular for the Wildcats throughout the campaign. Cats will host the Shreveport Mudbugs on October 15th. I believe to be a Saturday. It'll be the first time the Cats play the Mudbugs this season. That will be on Back the Blue Jersey night. So remember, folks, wear your Back the Blue Wildcats t-shirts to that game to support local law enforcement. Those t-shirts will be available at every home game leading up to that game on October 15th from the Roar store at the KYC. The Wildcats will also be wearing their Back the Blue jerseys on that night in support, again, of local law enforcement. Here comes Stephen Tilley on the right wing. Flutters a harmless shot on goal. No problems there for Will Ulrich. Regula line, it looks like, to take this next offensive zone draw. To his left, Prappas to his right. Prappas has it. Orgel shoots it, deflected off of Bismarck's stick. Goes down into the right side corner. Regula protecting the puck nicely. Will cycle it low for Isaac Cabinia. Now it's Prapis. Prapis squeezed up there by Vesio. Vesio is muddling things up. Can't move. Prapis can't move down there, nor could Cabinia, who goes tumbling down. Regula will try to keep it in. No luck. Now it's Vesio on the left side. And we get a whistle and a stoppage of play for an offside. With 7 3/4 showing now in the third period. The Wildcats still with a 3-2 lead. No scoring has taken place in the final 20 minutes so far. So I'm not sure why this face-off is going back to the Bismarck zone. That was an offside, I don't understand. And now the referee explaining to Lane Sedeby, the Bismarck head coach, why they are calling this. They might be saying that was an intentional offside. They might be saying Bismarck went offside on purpose there. Whatever the case may be, Sedeby's upset. The Wildcats hoping to take advantage now off that call. An offensive zone draw to Ulrich's left. Waring at the right side point throws it into the right corner. And Rezegi chips it up the boards. Bismarck failing to clear it. DeFriest keeps it in. CJ Walker into the left side corner to play the puck. Bodied up by Brandon Young. Puck advanced up the wall but not out. Seamus Donahue keeps it. Thrown towards the net. Picked off before it got there by Tanner Vesio. Now it's Donahue chipping it off a Bismarck skate. Again, it stays in. Young tracking it down. DeFriest there in the corner to meet him. Waring pressed up against the glass. The Bobcats able to exit their own zone and out to the neutral zone. Just over 7 to go. Donahue throws it up to center. Waring intercepts the neutral zone pass. He and Mismash converge in front of the penalty boxes. Here's Flatterby. Turning and shooting, blocked by Kevin Fees. .6:45 showing on the clock. The Wildcats still protecting a 1-goal lead. 3-2 your score. Flatterby advances it down the end boards, reverses a pass that was read by Kevin Fees like a book. Seamus Donahue will start the rush out of his own zone. He's been out there a while. Again, the puck goes off the ceiling. Regula. What a face-off that was. Right off the draw, Stephen Prapis, like shot out of a cannon into the opposing zone, rips a shot wide of the left post. And it goes out the other side, and Orgel to play it out in the neutral zone at the red line. Goes into Bismarck territory. The Bobcats exit their own end here. Prapis muddling things up with some good handy stick work. Puck pinballs its way to the right side. Orgel flying his way into the offensive end. Back out in his own zone is Blake Kriska throwing it off the neutral zone boards. Noah Borman's going to take care of it behind his net. 5:50 showing on the clock. Puck thrown on target from center ice by Ryan Orgel. No trouble there for Will Ulrich. Here comes Bismarck on the counterattack. Junger leaves it off. Now it's Sardina throwing it cross ice, hoping to get it to Altman. Bounced off his stick. Burnett advances it. Regula hauls it down the right side. Spins on a dime, drops it for Burnett. Burnett is in, he shoots. Fought off by Ulrich, what a save. Clear hand pass, nothing called, and Bismarck will exit their own zone. Sardina will shoot it, deflects on goal. Moyes made a tough stop with the pad. Regula finding Ryan Burnett. Burnett streaking down the right side, backhand pass for Poikula, he's in, and he scores. The net's been knocked off, but the referee doesn't care. This goal's gonna count, 4-2 the score. What a backhand move by Alexei Poikula after he was given the nice pass by Ryan Burnett. The Cats have added a much-needed insurance goal, and it's 4-2. So that is Alexei Poikola's second goal of the season. And what a beautiful goal it was. Should have had one against Fairbanks, but the net was knocked off its pegs. That happened again today, but that was clearly knocked off its pegs by the goaltender Ulrich, and that certainly would have gone in the net anyways. So a good no call by the referee to leave the goal as it stood. So Poikola with the goal, Burnett with the assist. The Cats with a 4-2 lead here with just under 5 to go in this third period. And that is a killer for the Bobcats. Tanner Vesio backhands one along the boards, didn't get all the way through to Canal, but it doesn't matter. Rezegi will throw it out to center for Parker Mismash, who's got the hot stick, but Waring did well to break up the offensive opportunity upcoming from Mismash. Now Jordan Freilich goes tumbling into the left side corner. Behind the net, it's Skvortsov looking. Skvortsov spins, closed off. Carballo finishes his check. Here comes Millen. Millen for Mismash. Mismash trying to weave his way down the boards, eluding Blake Kriska, who sizes him up, brings him down to the ice. Waring can't clear it, nor could Kriska. Fighting hard for it. Rezegi tries a wraparound and a shot, blockered away there by Evan Moyes. Nice stop on Rezegi. Kennedy sized up there by Kriska in the corner. Skvortsov helps out his defenseman. Will carry deliberately out to the neutral zone. He throws it out in the direction of Tilley. Missed him with the pass. As Carballo goes down to the ice. Kennedy saw him coming and gave him the brunt end of that collision. Kriska will throw it back into the Bismarck end. Brandon Young throws it out to center. Good drop pass. Kennedy shovels one towards the net. Orgel picked it off before it got all the way to Moyes. Bismarck with 3 minutes to make up a 2-goal deficit. The Cats have not had a power play this entire game. Here's Bobby DeFriest into the attacking zone. He left it off in the high slot. Here comes Nick Alexander, the Bismarck veteran, in the left circle with a shot well wide. I think he was hoping for the stick from Barry. Penalty upcoming against the Wildcats. And the goaltender scurries to the bench. Ulrich to the bench, and I believe he will stay there. 2.5 to go, showing on the clock 2:34. 4-2 the score in favor of the Cats, and now that they're back on the PK, would not be surprised if Lane Sedeby decides to keep Will Ulrich on the bench here in favor of a 6th attacker. In the meantime, it looks like one of these teams in all likelihood will be using their timeout. Seems like Bismarck. Lane Sedeby calling his only timeout here with 2:34 remaining in the third period. The Bobcats very much in this hockey game here. Did score 2 goals in a very short amount of time on that 5-minute power play that they had late in the second period. It does not take them long to put the puck in the back of the net. The Wildcats have to be very mindful, especially now that they're short-handed again with one of their defensemen in the penalty box. So Seamus Donahue will not be available for the next 2 minutes for the Wildcats unless Bismarck scores, in which case they're in some trouble anyways. Donahue called for interference. The goal scorers for the Wildcats tonight, 2 veterans, Ryan Burnett, Alexei Poikola. Burnett with his 6th goal, Poikola with his 2nd, and 2 rookies, CJ Regula and Stephen Tilley, with their first Wildcat goals tonight. Ulrich will, as predicted, stay on the bench here. 6 attackers on the ice for Bismarck, chock full of veterans. Only 1 defenseman, it looks like, on the ice for the Bobcats, and that's Jordan Freilich. Parker Mismash manning one of the other points. We saw his slap shot. No surprises, he's on the point. Barry goes crashing into the half boards. Mismash has it on the left side point. He dishes into the high slot. Freilich goes to the other side. Return pass from Flatterby. Freilich won't pull the trigger. Mismash goes cross ice. Bounced off the stick of Freilich. Did well to keep it alive just at the blue line. Nearly crossed it, but it did not. Rezegi against Canal. Won by Rezegi. Now it's Freilich taking the long screenshot. Tipped. Stopped by Evan Moyes, who slammed the wicked shot that nearly went through his 5-hole. Moyes covered up in the nick of time to keep it from trickling through his equipment into the net. 1:34 showing on the penalty against Seamus Donahue for interference. 2:07 to go in the hockey game. unless Bismarck should score 2 in that time frame. 4-2 your score in favor of Wichita Falls. Bismarck's veterans coming up big in this game already. Both of their goal scorers are on the ice right now, Parker Mismash and Tobias Flatterby. Rezegi, their face-off ace, to take this face-off, but he loses it again. Isaac Cabinia beat him off the draw. Canal will drop it for Orgel, who slaps it towards the empty net, and it hits the left post. How frustrating is that for Ryan Orgel? He has drawn iron so many times this season. Here comes Tobias Flatterby. Smoothly across the Wildcats line, down the right side. Couldn't dance wide on Roman Canal, who will take his shot at the empty net. No luck. Freilich picked it off. He keeps it in the offensive zone, in fact. He throws it on goal, tipped on net. And a big stop made by Evan Moyes on Matthew Berry's redirect. Puck cleared down the ice. Fortunately for the Wildcats, they can take as many shots on the empty net as they want because they don't have to worry if they miss. It's not going to be icing because they're short-handed for the next 48 seconds. Here comes Parker Mismatch. He slams on the brakes in front of the Cats bench. Finds an open man in Freilich left point. He skates in, wrists a shot, blocked. And off the netting and out of play. Alexei Poikala defensively to take the draw against Junger. Won by Junger. Ashbrook has it left point. Ashbrook with a wrist shot, stopped by Moyes. Rebound, stopped again by Moyes. He doesn't see it. Mad scramble in the net, and Moyes had it through all of that chaos in his glove. All 4 Wildcats skaters on the ice surrounding their goaltender now. Big stop by Evan Moyes in the crease. Kriska is replaced by Roman Canal. Alexei Poikala to take this face-off again to Moyes' right. Rasmussen drops the puck right off the face-off. Moyes pounces on it like a hot potato. Doesn't want that thing moving around right in front of him anymore. 30 seconds to go on the penalty to Seamus Donahue for interference. He's standing in the box. Poikala wins it. Canal will try to slap it at the empty net. He hit the linesman Rasmussen, who goes down. Now it's back out at center. Tanner Vesio. For Altman. Leaves it for Vesio, who starts the rush out now through center. Over the Wildcats' blue line. Left off now at the left side. Tristan Ashbrook will throw it low. Jonathan Waring puts up the body. Ashbrook escapes. Alexander goes down, courtesy of Poikala. Thrown ahead, not out. Burnett didn't have time to shoot at the empty net. Broken up by a back-checking Ashbrook back into the Cats zone. Puck rolls on goal. Moyes will steer it to Poikala. The Wildcats back to full strength. Donahue's out of the box. 23 seconds to go in this game. The Bobcats running out of time. They need to get a shot away now. They do. Slap shot blocked. Everyone on the ice was in that shooting lane. Now it's thrown down low. Altman cycles it into the corner. Alexander couldn't center. He's trying to get it to Ashbrook. 8 seconds to go. The Wildcats will finally win a game here at the NAHL 2016 Showcase. Icing called against Wichita Falls, but the linesman lets it go. Then he blows a late whistle as the Bobcats touch it up. 1.1 seconds showing. And that's going to wrap this puppy up. The Wildcats will improve to 1-2-0 at the 2016 Showcase. They finally win a game on day number 3, hoping to go 500 tomorrow if they can beat the Aston Rebels on day number 4. After dropping day 1 to the Fairbanks, day 2 to Springfield, the Cats have rallied back in a relatively high-scoring offensive affair here against the Bismarck Bobcats. 4-2 will be the final unless Bismarck can pull up some kind of miracle and referee discussing matters with the timekeeper. I think they want to add a few extra seconds because they let the puck go a little bit long before blowing the whistle on that last icing against the Wildcats. The Wildcats this season will improve to 3-2-2 in the standings, which means they will pass the Amarillo Bulls for the time being for first place in the South Division. Oh, they actually took down 0.3 seconds. This game's over. The Cats with their first win of the showcase as they congratulate their victorious goaltender, Evan Moyes, who backstopped them to another very strong game between the pipes. Evan Moyes with another win for the Wildcats. 4-2 your final. Veterans Ryan Burnett, Alexei Poikala, each with a strong game. Rookies Stephen Tilley, CJ Regula, with their first Wildcats goals. A couple of Bobcats veterans put the puck in the back of the net as well. Toby Flatterby got the first Bismarck goal, and shortly thereafter, Parker Mismash teed up a beautiful, picturesque slap shot. The former Wildcat scored a goal for Bismarck to cut the lead to 1 for the Wildcats, but it was just not enough, and the Cats end up on top in this one, 4-2, again the final. So Rick Frankie, Nick Merrick, the Cooley Region Chill and Lone Star Brahmas broadcasters will be requiring this booth here shortly. Unfortunately, I've got to scurry on out of here, give them their room to set up. So we're going to call it here for this broadcast. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We hope you enjoyed the game. It was a bit of a controversial one with all the penalties and lack thereof. Nevertheless, the Wildcats ended up on top with a 4-2 win, their first win of the 2016 showcase. They can go 500 with a victory over Aston tomorrow. Again, 9:15 a.m. We will start broadcasting that game from the same place, rink number 4 at Schwann Super Rink here in Blaine. Till then, so long, everyone. Hope you have a great Friday night.